Hey everyone, it's Sharon here, and I don't sound like my usual happy-go-lucky self. In fact, I think I'm about ready to cry. You see, we had a very unpleasant, even tragic, mortifying event that happened to me last night. You see, while I was asleep, we had some unwanted visitors. What happened was, and it's a long story, but let me tell you what happened. You see, Bellatrix Lestrange is up to her old tricks again. And I got on her bad side. Number one, because, well, I was not chosen to go to Hogwarts, and so therefore, I do not have a wand that chose me to do magic. And number two, I actually had the temerity to badmouth Draco Malfoy during one of my videos when I was doing a flip through of a Harry Potter illustrated book. So she does not like me. And of course I did have to voice my opinion about what she did to poor Dobby. And that just cinched it. So, because she's a stewing over in Azkaban, she sent some Cornish pixies to my house, and they made off with all of my coloring books and all of my beautiful coloring supplies. And I woke up this morning and I found everything gone, and I was just utterly speechless. And I just didn't know what to do. So the only thing that was left to me was this box of Crayola crayons and my Sleeping Beauty coloring book to color in. You see? So the only way that the pixies will bring back my beautiful coloring supplies and my coloring books is if I complete one page with Crayola crayons. So that's what I have to do if I want to get my beautiful, beautiful supplies back. And I just don't know how I'm going to manage. The only thing that I could think of to do once I regained my voice was to do a response. And my response was, "Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home." So I guess I had better just buck up and man up and complete this challenge if I ever want to see my beautiful things back again. So what we have today is a Crayola Crayon challenge. And so I wanted to go ahead and show you what we have here. Now, apparently some unwanted visitors also visited Shalene and also Anne, who has changed her channel to A Colorful Life. And they were left with the Chibi Girls coloring book and a 64 set of Crayolas. Now mine is a little different. I guess Bellatrix wanted to kind of use a little bit of variety. So I have here this Ultimate Crayola collection. There's 152 crayons in here. And let me go ahead and take it out of our little box. And so let me make sure we're in frame. So what we have here is, this is the Ultimate Crayola collection. And it's got 152 according to the box. I think there's some neons, the regular crayons, and so forth. And also in this we have a little, and I have no idea how good this thing is, but we have a little sharpener that came with this pack. So I've not had to use this. I've really not even used these crayons. So we're going to have to color a page out of this Sleeping Beauty coloring book. Okay. So what I have, well, what the pixies told me that I have to color is I have to color this page right here. You see this? Can you guys see that? I have to color, oops. Try to move it over a little bit. I have to color this page right here. And if I do not complete it with crayons only, I will not get my beautiful, beautiful supplies or books back. So, yes, I have to just buck up and I have to get cheerful and I just have to do this. So, we're going to color this page with these Crayolas. And now I'm going to do my little disclaimer like I always do. I'm doing this with a visual impairment, so that means I have to get kind of close to my work. Pretty close to my work actually, so you're probably going to end up seeing my head a little bit in the video. I'm trying to mess with a little bit of different camera angles to take care of that. So I'm hoping that this is going to help. It seemed to help the last video I made. And also, at least the Pixies were nice to me and gave me a page with a lot of big spaces so that hopefully I can get this done in one video and won't have to make a two-parter. So we'll see how that's going to go, and so that's going to be helpful with doing the big spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling some colors, and we will be right back to get coloring. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start working on her hair. And I got two colors here. I think it's called Laser Lemon and Macaroni and Cheese. It's kind of crazy that there's actually, oops, and I'm hitting the camera. I do apologize, you guys. It's kind of crazy that they got a color called Macaroni and Cheese. I'd heard that they did, but we're gonna kind of start with her hair a little bit. I'm trying to keep my hair back so it's not going to be in the picture too much, I hope. Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure that we have everything in frame. So we're just gonna go ahead and start on her hair. So you know what, like, I have not used crayons in like 30 years. I kid you not, you guys, like, this is crazy. Mostly I color with the colored pencils, but I don't have them anymore thanks to Bellatrix. And I better not talk about it anymore because I could just start crying in a minute. But yes, I have not used crayons in probably 30 years. I used them quite a lot when I was a kid. I used to color quite a bit when I was a kid. Especially between the ages of probably like, 5 to like 9, 5 to 9 years old. And then by the time I got to be, I don't know, 10 or 11, like I just didn't color very much anymore. And I didn't color until like the whole adult coloring phase kicked in. And then I got back into the coloring and I found that I really enjoyed it, of course. And as you guys know, I do, because if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be making these videos for you guys, right? So, yeah. But her hair is, now depending on how it was portrayed, like in the light, like in the movie, like sometimes you would see it be yellow, sometimes you would see it be more of like a dark goldeny color, especially depending on how the light was in the tower where she was and so forth. I guess depending on the light of day. So I'm going to put down this lighter layer of yellow and we're going to try to blend these things. Now, I got a little bit of a story to tell you guys. This is when I was in like third grade. And this is when I was in about 3rd grade, and we had to do what was called math mysteries. And basically what a math mystery was, it was a color by number kind of thing. But what you had to do was you had to solve the math problem. And a lot of times it was addition or subtraction, sometimes, because I think we got into multiplication. Sometimes, like, when it got more advanced, then, of course, we had the multiplication and the division. But most of the time it was addition and subtraction. So you had to solve the little math problem and fill it in, and then you had to color. Each number was assigned its own color. So we had to, like, for instance, 2 would be yellow, 3 would be green, that kind of thing. So we had to do that, and we had to do one of those like almost every stinking day. And now, being visually impaired, it took me a while to get my homework done. You know, not that I was dumb. It was just I was slower because I had to get so close, and I couldn't read as fast as what, you know, other people could. So not only did I have to do the math mysteries, but of course we had to do all the rest of the homework. And so it just took me quite a long time to do. And we had these math mysteries, like I said, just about every day. So they really became the bane of my existence because it took so long for me to do. I guess this is part of her hair too. It's going to be part of her hair. And so one night, I remember I had, and this teacher really, really liked to give us a lot of homework. And so that night, my parents were out, and so I was being babysat by, I think she was like a second cousin to my dad or something like that. And she saw that I was really struggling and I was getting really tired, and I had filled in my numbers for the math mystery. And she says, you know, do you want me to help you out with this? And I said, sure, because by that time I was getting desperate. I just did not want to have any more to do with that thing at all. So, she took the math mystery paper and she colored in all of the little number spaces and stuff for me. And now it was done with crayons, like, you know, I had the crayons and stuff. So she did it all with crayons. And I think I'm going to probably come up here and color that crown. I'll do that, maybe a silver color, but I'm going to lay down a yellow part right there, and then we'll come back and fix that in a little bit later. But, so she colored in all of the, and I'm going to take the darker color and try to do a little bit of blending here. So she took the crayons and she colored in the math mystery pages for me, or spaces, you know, like where the numbers were. And now it was done with the crayons, like I said. Now when I colored, I was often very heavy-handed, like I would just totally mush down on the crayon. I don't do that anymore. Of course, it's been like 30 years since I've messed with crayons. But I was very heavy-handed with the crayons. And my cousin, she was not. I mean, she colored really nicely. So you could tell, like if you looked at it, you could tell that what she did not resemble anything that I could do, or that I did at the time. So when I handed it in to the teacher, boy, she figured out very quickly that was not my coloring. So she gave me a fresh copy and says, "Here, you have to do it all by yourself. You know, you have to do the whole thing. You cannot let anybody else do it for you." So I was like, "Oh God." So of course I complained about having to do it all over again, and she's like, "Well, you don't have to do it over again." She just says you have to do it. So I'm like, okay. So I did it. Plus I had to do the math mystery that she assigned for the next day. So I ended up with 2 math mysteries to do in a single day. And that did not make me happy at all, let me tell you. That did not make me happy at all. I think this is part of her hair too. So the moral of the story is that if you're going to get somebody to color your math mystery, make sure you get somebody who colors similarly to how you color, if you don't want to get busted. But the moral of a good moral of the story is to just do the damn thing yourself, get done with it, and then you're good to go, and you don't have to worry about it anymore until you get another math mystery that you have to do. So yeah. Oh, joy of joys. So these 2 colors really are not very different in shade. A little bit. Now I could get some different color if I push down on it. I don't want to have to push down on it though too much. Boy, poor Anne, like when she did hers, boy, her wrists were killing her, but she really mushed down on her crayons like I used to do when I was in 3rd grade. So I'm going to try to blend it. And I got to kind of push a little bit to blend it, but it's blending. It is blending. I got to say that. It is blending. So, it is Memorial Day weekend. I am filming this on Sunday, I think it's the 28th. So, what did you guys do over Memorial Day weekend? I'm going to try to get this up like later this afternoon. But it is like, probably about like 1 o'clock. No, it's like 2 o'clock. Oh my gosh, time is really getting away from me. It's like 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And so I'm hoping that I can go ahead and get this uploaded like later in the afternoon. I would have done it a little bit sooner, but we were shampooing some carpets and the thing made a lot of noise, so I couldn't really film when all that was going on. We've had some problems with Sheena causing accidents on the floor a little bit. Sheena's one of our dogs, so we've had to deal with that, and so we've had to fix up the carpet because of it. Now, like I was saying, you know, Bellatrix sent her little pixies to steal all of my coloring supplies and my books. And, you know, like we've got 3 dogs here. We've got 3 dogs here, and you would have thought that at least one of them would have like grabbed them, you know, grabbed them and maybe tried to like chomp on them or something. But apparently, you know, those Cornish pixies really know how to work things because, well, okay, you see the problem with Caleb, you know, my golden retriever, he loves it when somebody says, "Oh, what a beautiful boy," and oh, he's so handsome, and see, he loves having his little fan club. And so the problem with him is if he gets somebody who really likes him and joins his fan club, and if they tell him like what a beautiful doggy he is, he has no compunctions about showing anybody like where my purse is, like where my fountain pen collection is. And apparently he showed those darned pixies where my coloring books and supplies were. Now, did Sheena come out to help? Nope, I don't think so. You see, she was sleeping in my daughter's bedroom. So she heard a commotion going on, and she barked a little bit, but she says, well, I'm sleeping. It's not gonna be worth my while to get up and chase anybody away, if there's anybody there. And Turbo, well, you see, Turbo is a different story. Those pixies didn't get in from outside. They came down. See, we have one of those like old-fashioned wood stoves in the living room, and I think they came down that chimney. But if they would have come in like through the windows or through the doors, then I think Turbo would have gone after them. But by the time they got in, you know, they were already gone by the time he figured out what was going on. So he couldn't chomp them or bite them in the little butts or anything. So they just made off with all of my coloring supplies, those darn pixies did. And my dogs were just no help at all. So Mama is not happy with doggies today because Mama is traumatized. And when Mama's coloring stuff is gone, Mama isn't happy. Do they even try to apologize? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. And of course now my husband, he just kind of laughs and says, well, it serves you right. So did I get any sympathy from him? Nope. Not in the least. So I don't know what I'm going to do with everybody in this house. Now my daughter, she didn't know what was going on because she was sleeping. So I didn't get any sympathy there or any help. Not in the least. So I am alone in my solitude But maybe some of my coloring buddies can sympathize with me because, see, nobody can understand except, like, coloring buddies, right? Okay, that is her hair. Alright, let's see what we can do with her dress. Alright, now I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we're gonna try some Razzle Dazzle Rose and some fuchsia on her dress. Now, Crayola crayons, unless you press really hard, they do not come off really dark. So this pink could be like really light, and then the fuchsia could be like really kind of, I don't know. But we're gonna give it a shot. Okay, just make sure I'm in frame. Holy cow. Oh my goodness me. So, okay, that did not go well. I colored on her hand. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh lordy. Good heavens. Alright, so I think I may be okay. So we're just gonna try, this. See how it's gonna go. Oh, mercy me. But I guess what they're trying to show is that if like Crayola crayons is all you can afford, then you can still do some cute work with crayons. And now see, Shalene and Anne, their pictures turned out really good. They colored from the Chibi Girls by Jade Summer. I never did have that book, so that was not an option. And their pictures turned out really cute. But like I said, I guess Bellatrix, you know, she wanted some variety. She wanted some variety, so she said, you gotta, or no, she told the pixies to say, you gotta color this page with only Crayolas, or you don't get your stuff back. So I'm going to try, let's see, I'm not sure, I kind of almost forgot like what her dress looked like. I really did, I almost forgot what her dress looked like. So we're gonna color it sort of halfway how I remember. I'm hoping I don't have to do a part 2 to this video, but we'll see. I'm not a speedster colorist, even with these Crayolas like Anne. Oh my gosh, Anne, she was like Mrs. Flash Gordon or something like that. So, but I can't do that even with these things, even to try to get it done. I do want to try to get it to come out okay, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So then I'm going to color, I'm going to try to get a little bit of blending in here. So, see, like some of these colors are real similar. I mean, they're, you know, some of them are a little darker. Whew, look at the wax buildup. Holy moly. Some of them are a little similar, and some of them are quite similar, and some of them are not. So anyway, Anne and Shalene were talking about how they like to color as kids, and like I said, I probably from about age 5 up into probably about age 9, I had quite a few coloring books. I had a lot of fairy tale coloring books, and I didn't really, like, we had some animal ones, but I didn't really color the animals too much. Sometimes I'd color like teddy bears or something, but I mostly did like, I loved, you know, the fairy tales, and I had a really nice Sleeping Beauty coloring book, I remember, when I was probably about maybe 7 or 8, and it had the whole story in it, like, it did have the story in it, and so on each page was a picture of, you know, what was going on in the story, and it had the, you know, the story blurb like underneath it, so that was kind of neat, and but I really enjoyed that coloring book. It was a kid's coloring book, obviously, because we didn't really have the adult coloring books back then.
But I definitely remember that coloring book. And I think I also had a Cinderella and a Snow White one. It wasn't this book. It was definitely different. It was definitely different. You know, because like I said, it had the stories in it. It had the blurbs from the stories in it, and the pictures seemed a little bit more difficult than this. Okay, so I'm going to take the darker one. I'm going to take the darker one, and I'm going to push down just a little bit to get a little bit of a darker color on this dress. And I try not to be heavy-handed with this. Well, I mean, like I said, it's been just so long since I've used any kind of crayons. You know, like I said, 30 years. 30 years is a long time. And I was very heavy-handed, you know, at using crayons when I was a kid. You know, when I started coloring with like Prismas and stuff, I kind of learned my lesson. I did. I learned my lesson, and I wasn't quite so heavy-handed anymore. And so I try not to be with the crayons, but I kind of have to be a little bit to get any kind of color out of them. Okay, I'm going to try to move the camera just a little bit. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. Like I said, I'm trying to play with some different camera angles so that I can try to keep the appearance of my head out of the video as much as possible, as much as humanly possible for me. Maybe I should write to Albus Dumbledore and tell him about what Bellatrix did. I can't really write to the Minister of Magic because, you know, they don't believe that Lord Voldemort has come back to life. So I think my best bet is to try to find an ally in Professor Dumbledore, because well, I like him. I have always liked him, and I would hope that maybe, just maybe, he would... okay, I may have to do... Is that part of her hair again? That may be part of her hair. I may have to get that yellow again to get that. Let's see, this is part of her dress right there. So I am probably going to have to write to Professor Dumbledore and say, help, please. Because it's just not right. Yeah. But if I can get this done, and I may have to make a two-parter, we will see. But if I can get this done, then the Pixies have promised to give me my supplies back and my books. Because you know what? The Sleeping Beauty one and my Crayolas are the only things that I have left right now to my name. So, something has to be done. Something absolutely has to be done about such mistreatment. So that this never happens again to some poor, unfortunate soul. And I'm probably going to have to go have counseling for the next 20 years because this just traumatized me so much. Oh, goodness. But no, there's been, I think there's been quite a few people that have done the Crayola challenge over this whole thing, like, you know, since the trend took off. So it's kind of interesting to see what people do with this. It really is. And, yeah, it's very interesting to see what people do. So... And I was telling, I forgot who I was telling the other day that you don't really see adult colorists, you know, using crayons. And lo and behold, that is when gnomes and elves and pixies and fairies and stuff started stealing people's coloring books and supplies. And that's when Bellatrix sicked her little pixies on me, and that just really is a total low blow. I mean, just an absolute low blow. So I'm trying to blend this a little bit, like I'm trying to get some shading, but you can kind of do it a little bit, but with these crayons, like you get a lot of residue and a lot of just buildup. So it's not the easiest to do, but we are making do, aren't we? And I think this could come out really nice looking. So then I'm going to color this part up here. I think was this part white, or was that, I think this part up here was white, and I think all of this down here was pink. Now, sometimes she wears pink, sometimes she's worn blue. So it all just kind of depends. I think, was it, like in the movie, wasn't it Flora, I think, who wanted pink, and Meriwether who wanted blue or something like that? Or Flora, was it Flora and Fauna, or was it I forget which of the, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that movie now because I forget which two fairies were arguing over the pink and the blue. So if you watch the end of the movie, like, you just kind of see her dress changing from pink to blue and back to pink and then back to blue. So yeah. So then I'm gonna take the darker one, and we're gonna, now I'm probably not making this look like the original one. But I do want to try to get some blended effects with this as much as I can. Okay. Now I'm probably going to have to grab that yellow again and work on her hair, because I think I missed a few pieces, and I'm probably going to have to darken it up just a little bit because there's a few places that just look a little bit too light. So it's something that we're gonna have to fix up a little bit. But yeah, some mishaps with crayons that we've had over the years. I remember when my daughter was little, and I remember one day, I forgot where we were or what happened, but I remember one day I discovered grounded crayon on my carpet in the living room, and we have like rose-colored carpet, and oh my gosh, you talked about a bitch to get up. I was not happy. I was not very happy at all. I did manage to get it up though, but it took me a long time to do. But when I was a kid, I think my sister melted crayon against a light bulb or something. And my sister, she was, this was my middle sister. I have two other sisters. Actually, technically I had three sisters. My dad was married once before, before he married my mom. And him and his first wife had 3 kids together, a girl and 2 boys. And so my half-sister, she died a few years ago. So, yeah, she died a few years ago, so we don't have her anymore. And I'm trying to see if there's any more of her dress. Alright, so we're gonna try to work on her hair just a little bit, and I found this other yellow here, and I think I can make this one work a little bit. We'll try to do a little bit of blending with it. I think this part right here is some of her hair. But yeah, my sister, like I said, we don't have my half sister anymore because she died. But my other sister, Tammy, she was our middle sister, and I think this is part of her hair. I think this may be part of her hair right there. We're gonna pretend it is, because that I think is her hand. We're gonna pretend that this is hair. But she melted a she melted a crayon against one of the light bulbs, against a light bulb, and that was not a pretty sight. I'm going to pretend that that's hair too. I hope it is. I think it is. So yeah, that wasn't a pretty sight. And of course, you know, there's also the classic thing where we all decided to color on the walls of the house. Like we would draw or color like on the walls of the house, and my mom, of course, was not happy about that. I think I did it one time, but I think my younger sisters were more guilty of that than I was. There's one thing I remember doing though, and I distinctly remember this. I used to have, oh my gosh, is that part of her dress there too? Is that part of her dress there too? I'm going to pretend it is. I'm going to pretend that that's part of her dress too. So, anyway, one thing I distinctly remember doing is, and I used to have this chalkboard, and it was one of those like portable chalkboards. You could either like mount it on the wall, or I can't say that it was all that portable. It was kind of big. I mean, it wasn't like a schoolroom chalkboard, but it was a chalkboard that kids could play with and just, you know, do their thing on. And I remember I was playing with it one day, and I had my little chalk, and then I had a piece of paper, and I had this box of crayons. And so I thought to myself, and I think I must have been probably maybe 7. I thought to myself, I wonder what the crayons would do on the chalk, and I wonder what the chalk would do on the paper, right? So I started making like little marks of crayon on the chalkboard, and I started doing the same thing on the paper with the chalk. Now the chalk didn't really show up very well on the paper because it was white. I'm going to pretend that that's part of it too. The chalk really didn't show up on the paper because it was white. But the crayon, of course, showed up on the chalkboard because I think I picked up a purple crayon or something. And so the purple showed up on the chalkboard. And my mom, she caught me. And so she grabbed it all out of my hand. So she had to take some cleaner. I think she took some water and some other stuff. I don't really remember what it was. But she tried to get as much of it off of the chalkboard as she could. She got a lot of it, but I still had like up in that left corner of that chalkboard where there were still purple lines on that chalkboard because I decided to experiment. And yeah. So that was my little run-in with crayons, like my little history with crayons. And of course, I mean, you know, I did regular coloring too, but when I got to be past like age 9, I didn't really color anymore until the adult coloring trend hit. And then I colored, of course. Another thing I distinctly remember, and I think I must have been maybe 6, and my mom and a bunch of my aunts and stuff loved to go to bingo. And so there was a little place in the town where we lived that did bingo once a week. And back in that day, you could take the little kids to bingo. Of course, they couldn't play, but it wasn't frowned upon to take the little kids to bingo. And they would just sit there with with some toys or coloring books or something, and do their thing while the adults played bingo, right? So I got a little bored, so I remember I think there was this bag or something with some coloring stuff, and I think the coloring book belonged to another girl, but she had it, it was in there so that some of us other kids could use it too. And I was looking for a page to color, I wanted to sit down and color, and of course I was always very heavy-handed with my crayons, like I explained earlier. And so I found a page to color, but then I was looking through the book and I thought,
I want to try to find something, like, I want to see if there's anything else that has been colored in there. So I looked, and there was a couple of other pages, and I remember just seeing just some really, really nice pictures in there that had been colored, probably by, I think it was by the owner of the book. And I think the owner of the book at that time, well, she was, I think, about a year older than me, or a year or maybe a couple years older than me. And I remember looking at the picture that I think it was her, had done. And I thought, oh, this is so pretty. And I just remember being so jealous because, like, her colors looked so nice, you know, and it blended nicely. I mean, I don't think, I don't think anybody at that age really had the concept of shading or anything, but to my, like, 6-year-old mind, you know, it just looked so pretty because her colors were just nice and fluid and so forth. And I'm trying to remember where the heck these colors go. You know, her colors were just so nice and fluid, and I just remember being so jealous because I didn't like how mine looked. And I mean, I never, you know, I didn't deface her pictures or anything, you know, I just looked at it, and I just remember just being just so enamored with it and just looking and looking and looking and looking. And, but yeah, her colors were really nice. And of course that was done, I think it was done with crayons. Although I think she had some colored pencils in her bag too, but at the time, like when I was a kid, I really didn't mess with colored pencils very much. It was all just pretty much crayons for me. Crayons or like washable markers is what I tended to use a lot of. All right, I'm gonna look for some skin tones and come back and we'll do her skin tone, and then I need to do the little flower and her crown. And we're getting there, guys. Okay, so we're gonna take Peach and we're gonna color her skin. So we got quite a bit to do. And for this part here, I think I'm gonna press down just a little bit so that I can get this color to show up. Okay, I hope you guys can see this. But yeah, like I said, I just remember her picture just being so pretty, or her pictures being so pretty, and thinking to myself, I wish I could color like that, and not really realizing that, hey, you got to kind of lighten up your pressure a little bit to color like that, or at least that helps, you know. And I tended to get out of the lines a lot too, like when I colored as a kid, and I was always just so frustrated with myself. And I mean, I still do. I try not to, but sometimes I'll still do. I try not to, though. I think I gotta color that part of her hair again because I think I missed a piece. Her hair is like everywhere, so sometimes I miss some. I'll have to do her eyes. I hope you guys can see this. So I'll have to do her eyes and stuff. And then I'll get to her lips. So that is some of my coloring history, such as it was. But yeah, when I got out of that phase, I just didn't do it anymore. Like and I don't remember like oh, Sheenie's here. Hey Sheenie, why did you let Bellatrix Lestrange take all of my coloring supplies? What was I saying? But yeah, I don't really remember when like a concrete time when I got out of that phase. I just remember like when I was past probably the age of 9, I just didn't do it anymore. So, yep. Okay.
Let yourself up here.
Sure. I'm doing a Crayola challenge. I have to make one picture with just crayons. So I am drinking a beer. And I decided that I deserve it because after being traumatized by Bellatrix and her little pixies, I got to do something, right? So we're going to get around her
neck area here. And I don't know, guys, how do you think this is looking? How do you think I'm doing with the Crayolas? And my beer can kind of sweated and dripped on my picture. Crap. Not good. Not good. Okay. So how do you guys think I'm doing with the Crayolas here? What do you guys think? Now, I don't color very quickly, like I have said before. I do not color very quickly at all. So I'm hoping I can get all this done in a part 1 and that I don't have to make a part 2. But we shall see. We shall see what happens. Okay. I feel like I still need to go over some of the places here. Now, one thing with Crayolas is you get a lot of like white space in the tooth of the paper here. It's like you're not going to get a smooth coverage. It just really isn't going to happen. Unless there could be some people that are very, very skilled with Crayolas, and then you can get that. But not me. I haven't figured that out. Of course, being like 30 plus years or whatever since I have used crayons, that doesn't help. That doesn't help in the least. Okay, so here is her hand right there. Okay. Try to keep my head out of the way as much as I can. And I'm pressing a little bit to kind of get some of this peach to lay down. Oh, talk about residue and buildup, guys. I mean, really. Okay, so as I was saying in the beginning of the video, it is Memorial Day weekend, and so a lot of times over the weekend there will be some parties or people will be doing some stuff. Those of you that live in the States and celebrate it, did you guys do anything special? Did you guys have dinner plans? Did you go to parties or anything like that? What have you guys been doing? Yesterday, my husband and I, well, we are certified barbecue competition tasting judges. So we went to taste, we went to an event to do some judging for that. So we were busy with that a lot of yesterday afternoon. And it was fun. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. It took, we got up there in the afternoon, like I said, and then we, that took up, quite a bit of time. So that was what we did yesterday. And then today, I have to meet this challenge. Tomorrow I have to sing for Memorial Day service. Okay, I think that is her skin tone right there. But yes, I have to sing for a Memorial Day service tomorrow. So I will be doing that. And then that is going to be my Memorial Day weekend. Tomorrow we're going to be having steaks on the grill. My husband is going to grill some steaks. So let's see. So that will be fun. That'll be nice and good. Okay, I'm going to find something to color this flower and probably put some finishing touches on her hair and stuff up here and find something for her crown. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take the plum and we're going to color that flower. And then we have Pacific Blue and we're going to try to make a blue background for the sky. So let's try that. Let's go ahead and let's take the plum and let's just go ahead and color up this flower that she's holding, and then I'll find some green for the stem. But let's just grab. We have to get the for the leaves and the stem, but we're gonna just kind of grab this plum color and we're gonna make it purple. I don't think I can really do too much shading on this thing. Oop! Okay, yeah, is that her other hand right there? Oh my gosh. It could be. Okay, I'm gonna have to find that peach again and color that up there because I think that is her other hand, which I thought it was down here. So I'm gonna have to go back and fix something, but that's okay. I made it light enough that I could color over it, I think, and it'll be all right. Oh, got out of the line a little bit. One thing about crayons is it's not going to be very precise with these little areas here, I don't think. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So there is the purple flower. So I'll need to get some green and come back and do that stem. I think it's turning out pretty cute though. I think it's turning out pretty cute. So let's go ahead and tackle this background. I think we'll go ahead and do the background and then we'll do the crown. And then I'll come back and fix some little things here. So we got quite a bit to do with the background, which we're gonna do. We're gonna make a sky. I'm gonna lighten up some of this. I'll darken up some of this, like over here. And we'll just try to blend in what we can. Like we'll lighten up and then we'll just kind of blend it together as we need to. But we're just gonna we'll darken up the edges a little bit. Whew. And I'm pressing, you guys. I really am. I'm pressing. So then I'm going to lighten some of this up. We'll blend it as we need to. But especially, like, I mean, look at how grainy that looks. Like, it's not going to be a smooth application with these Crayolas. It's just not. That's not the nature of the game with Crayolas. I miss my pencils. Like having my polychromos and my Prismas gone and all the other stuff I color with. My Neos are gone. Oh. I'm gonna have to think of a way to pay back Bellatrix for what she did. Like I said, if I can find an ally in Albus Dumbledore, I may be in good shape. Yes. And I really love like what he told Harry one time about Bellatrix. I think it was in Half-Blood Prince, where they were talking about Bellatrix, and Dumbledore was saying that Bellatrix, yeah, she likes to, how does she put it? She likes to play with her food before she chews it. So I had to kind of laugh a little bit at that, but you know what? It's very true. Bellatrix is actually, you know, and like if you, I don't know, like just looking at some of the characters and stuff, like in the Harry Potter series, especially those Death Eaters. I mean, some of them were just, I would say, outrightly insane. Like Bellatrix, I think she was insane. She was very sadistic, very twisted. And she would stop at nothing to inflict torture. Like, you know, I think she was the one who tortured Neville Longbottom's parents. And I think she got way, way too much enjoyment out of that. And she was... There were times, I swear, I wonder if she was even in love with Voldemort. I mean, she was like... just... pretty much like up his ass. She was pretty much like up his ass, and... she was very devoted to Voldemort. But just, I mean, it was such an unhealthy devotion. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm like over analyzing it all, because it's just a cool it turbo. It's just a fictional story. I mean, and that's really what it was. It's a fictional series. But there was a list group on Yahoo that that talked about the characters in depth. I think it was called Harry Potter for Grown-Ups, and I used to be on that. I don't know if it's still in existence, but I got off of that after a while because it wasn't really the friendliest sort of place to be. There's a lot of disagreements, which okay, you know, I can, you know, that happens, you know, when you're, you know, everybody has opinions about stuff. So there was a lot of disagreements on a lot of that. But it got to the point where there was a lot of arguments, and it wasn't a very friendly place to be. I think I might have posted there, maybe I could probably count the number of times on one hand that I actually posted there. And you know, keep in mind, this was years ago. I don't know if it's still around. I don't know if it's still in existence. And if it is, and if any of you are on there, and if I've kind of insulted it, you know, but I'm sorry for that. I'll apologize for that. But you know, it's just my opinion. It is just my opinion. And that's, you know, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I will say, in my opinion, that it just wasn't exactly the most friendliest place to be. Okay, I'm going to flip the book a little bit because I need to go ahead and get this part over here. And I think it's a little bit easier, like when I can get this part kind of closer to me right there. So I'm just gonna bring it inside here, and just because I'm trying to make this sky just a little bit blue. I'm just gonna make a blue sky. And I'm gonna darken up around the edges, just like we tried to do before. I probably should have picked, maybe I'll pick a different color to kind of maybe give a little bit, but I kind of got like a little bit of blended look right there with the darker and then the lighter. So I don't know, maybe this will be okay. Maybe this will be okay. And then I'll just lighten up and just try to, bless you, just try to blend it in a little bit. So one thing I'm trying is like just varying my degrees of pressure for what I'm trying to accomplish. So we shall see what's going to happen with this. And I'm just going to lighten it up. Hopefully you guys can see that. So how has everybody been doing? I think I asked about everybody's plans, and I told you what we had done. So not really too much to say about that anymore. We did our barbecue. That was fun. And that was our first time judging an event, because we had just taken the class in February and got certified. So it was the first time that we actually went to judge an actual event. And it was quite an experience. Okay, so again, I'm just going to try to make sure that that you guys can see all of this. Try to get as close to the lines as I can, and I may have to get some more yellow to do some more of her hair. I know I'll have to get some pink to do her lips. and to do her eyes. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I may get all this done in a part one. I sure hope I do, because I've never ever finished a picture on camera before with you guys. I still have just a teeny tiny little bit to do on the buddy color with Shalene. But there's just such a tiny minuscule amount that I may just finish it off camera, because I think I just have the butterfly and the little weeds on top of the eggshell. And then I think I might go ahead and do a pastel background. And doing that, I think I may just, what do you call it, do that off camera. Okay. So I'm going to bring, hopefully don't get it onto her hand right there. Okay. So when you're doing these backgrounds, like, I'm always so afraid of getting too close to the lines. So I'm trying to get as close as I can without going over. But at least on some of this, like if I do go over it, I can make it light enough where I can color over that if need be. But it's not quite so bad when you get to the bigger spaces. And I hope I don't have to end up sharpening this blue crayon. You know, peeling the paper back and sharpening it. But I think I'm using light enough pressure where I won't have to do that. Okay. So I'm sorry if my head's in the way. I'm trying to get as close as I can to the lines without going over. And in the case like that, and I have to get a little bit close to see what I'm doing. Okay. Come over this way. But a speedster I am not. And a speedster I am not. It ain't going to happen. Unless you want me to make this look like a drunk has been coloring it. But I am drinking beer, so, but I am just on a first beer, so I am nowhere near to being tipsy or anything like that. But if you want me to be a speedster, then yeah, it would look like a drunk got a hold of this and started coloring this. Oh gosh, holy crap. And then, yeah, then I think Bellatrix would really laugh at me, because she is insane that way. But then, like I said, I was never invited to go to Hogwarts. So she may just wish to go ahead and just off me, and then it's Avada Kedavra time. But if I complete this challenge, then those pixies have to give me my things back. And that's just all there is to it. Alright, I think that background is pretty well done. I think I did a pretty good job on that. What do you guys think? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and look for green for the stem. Some pink, and then I'm going to do her skin tone. Probably come back with a little bit more yellow and just redo some of the parts on her hair because it needs it. Alright, so guys, I will be right back when I get my colors, and we will finish this girl up. Okay, so I have a Screamin' Green for the stem on the flower, and then I have this Wild Strawberry that I'm going to use on her cheeks and her lips, and then I have this tangerine color that I'm going to go in and put some highlights in the hair, and then I think we'll be done with this, you guys. So let's go ahead and just color the stem on the flower while we're sitting here. Oh, I should have grabbed some peach too, so I could do her hand again, because I gotta finish up her hand. So I'm going to try to maybe go over part of her dress a little bit where I messed up also. So here are some leaves. Now this seems to be kind of a light green color, but we're gonna use it anyway. I could have grabbed a darker green, but that's okay. We'll deal with what we got here. And I think I'm gonna have to grab okay. I thought I was gonna have to grab that blue, but I think I'm okay too with that. I'm pressing down kind of hard on this green to get what I wanted. I probably should have grabbed a darker color of this, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. We'll press down to get it a little bit darker. Whew. Talk about some build up. Okay, so there's our flower. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to get that peach to do her what do you call it? Her hand. So then I'm gonna take the pink. Yeah, I'm gonna take this pink and I'm going to go ahead and do her lips. This is wild strawberry. Okay, I'm not going to try to blend that in because it's such a small space that it's just not going to work out, at least for me. It might work out for some people, but not for me. So we're just going to go over her lips. And I'm pressing down kind of hard to get that vivid color. Can you guys see that? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and just do a little bit on her cheeks, just a little bit, like just not even add too much of it, just a little bit, because I would have I would probably muddy the colors up. So just a little bit on her cheeks. So I kind of muddied the color up like a little bit. Like sometimes it just doesn't want to mix real well. And then I need to get a blue to do her eyes. We'll just add a little bit to her cheeks. Yeah. Okay. So that is that. Now this I think is part of her hair, and that's part of her dress. I'm gonna take this pink and I'm gonna make this a little bit darker down here. I think this is part of her dress, and if it's wrong, it's wrong, but I think it's part of her dress, so we're just gonna go over that a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go over. I don't think this is her hair. Okay. I'm just going to go over this. Okay, and then I'm going to take the tangerine color, and then we're just going to do just a little bit of highlights to her hair a little bit, because sometimes, like, depending on where she's at, like in the tower or whatever, it kind of looks more of like a darker gold color. So I'm just going to kind of just go over the yellow part just a little bit with this, kind of near the top of her head. But if you try to get too many layers on this, like, it's just not gonna work, because there's just too much wax in this. Okay. But I think this is looking pretty good. I think this is looking pretty good. Okay. I still got to come back and do her crown. which I will take care of. So I need to do her crown. I need to grab the peach again to do her hand. I need to grab some blue to do her eyes. Okay, this part down here is some more hair. Okay. I'm pressing pretty good on this now. Okay. All right, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of that? Okay. So I need to get some peach. I'm going to get something metallic to do her crown. And then I think we'll be done in just a minute. Okay. All right, I think that's probably good enough on her hair. What do you guys think? Whoops, hit the camera. Gosh. There's this piece here that needs it, actually. So we'll just take it and do it like this. Okay. All right, let's look for something for the crown and her hand, and then I think this picture will be complete. All right, so we have sky blue, gold, and I think I got the right one for her skin. I think it's the same one I had, but if not, then we'll make do with it. Because I don't remember. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take the gold and we're gonna go ahead and do her crown. Make her a gold crown. This almost looks like the same color as her hair, but it's not. Because I used yellows for her hair, but this is gold. I'm gonna kind of press down on this a little bit to differentiate between the colors. So we're getting there. It kind of looks like a muddy gold though, doesn't it? It's not really like a bright gold, is it? But, you know, with Crayolas, it's not going to be, I mean, you get some really nice bright colors, especially if you press down on them. But boy, you kill your hands when you do that. Just ask Anne. She was killing her wrists. I felt so bad for her, but yeah, she was really pressing down on those babies, let me tell you. And like, you could just see her crayon just kind of just sinking, like, there was one of her crayons that started to look really deformed. Oh my gosh, because she was really pressing down on that crayon. Alright, so we'll take the sky blue. And I think there's a little jewel right here in this crown, I think. Well, we're going to pretend that there is one. And we'll color it in. And I'm kind of shaking the table a little bit because now I'm pressing kind of hard, really hard actually. Okay, so there is that. I got some white showing through here. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna fix it. Okay, so there is her crown. Now we're gonna do her eyes. And again, we'll take the sky blue. And I have to get kind of close, so sorry guys. This won't take long. I'll just kind of get into her little pupils right there. Okay. And then We'll go onto this one here. Sorry if my head's in the way. I'll have to see what will need to be edited out. Okay. All right, so then I'm gonna take this skin tone color, and we're gonna color her other hand, and maybe we'll do a little bit on her eyelids. Okay. Okay. We'll just press down like real light. We don't need to do a lot. Just to make sure that we get her skin done. And you can't get really fancy with Crayolas because there's just not a whole lot of skin tone colors. Okay. All right. There's a finger right there. Okay. So then I'm going to come over here because I think it's a slightly different color, and I'm just going to kind of maybe do a little bit of highlighting up here. Maybe just a little bit of blending on this a little bit. And I'm going to try to blend in that pink because I know that that's a little muddied right there. Oof. All right, then I'm going to come up and do her. I'm going to come up and do her eyelids. Okay. Right there, I think. Okay. Now I could just add a little bit of highlights down here because this is a slightly darker. I could just add a few little highlights in it. Just kind of like maybe along her neck and her jaw. That way maybe it looks like it's got a little bit of sunshine or something right there. And I'll try to blend a little bit in by just lightening up the pressure. Oof. Okay. And then maybe a little bit here. So we are in the home stretch. Alright guys, I think I'm done. I think that does it. So this is the picture. Actually, I'm going to lift up the camera just a little bit so that we can see it. Okay, so here is what our picture looks like. I'm going to go ahead and sign it off camera because I did not bring a pen in here with me at the moment. Actually, I might have one. I'll put away the crayons. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pen and I'm going to sign the picture. So, all right, and today is the 28th, 17, and I used Crayola crayons. So I'd like to put the medium that I used on the pictures right there. Okay guys, so here is our finished picture. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and now I can get my coloring supplies back from Bellatrix's Cornish Pixies. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel to see more like this. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and tell me what you think.
You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later. All right, bye guys.